Right, something a little bit different to start off with. You may know that I've been using a lot of these, I say a lot of them, 3 of these in the motorhome. They're 433 megahertz remote control relays. And so they've just got an on and an off. And you set these up so that each of the relays uses a different controller. However, there is a problem with these, and there's a fault in manufacturing. And what it is that the resistors in the back of these controllers have not been put in the right place. And so what's happened is that the code that it sends for an on, that one, is exactly the same as the code set for the off. So if you're trying to set these up as being press on to switch on, switch off, or press off to switch off, they don't work because they're both sending the same code. So we're going to have to modify this very, very carefully with a very, very fine-tipped soldering iron and a surface mount resistor. Yeah, it's a bit tricky, in order to be able to change the code that's being sent for the off. So when you link it to the relay, it recognizes the 2 different codes and can then therefore respond accordingly. So first thing we've got to do is open this thing up, and I'll show you what's inside. What I recommend if you're going to be doing this type of work is, firstly, you're going to need a very, very fine tip soldering iron, which I have got there, temperature controlled. But also, I would highly recommend getting one of these. They come from TEMU. They're about €7, and they come with a bunch of different accessories, as well as the screwdriver tip. But they also come with virtually every type of screw and nut connection that you're ever going to need. Highly recommend it. They've got some of the security ones in here as well. Very, very fine tipped Phillips and flat blades, as well as the more conventional ones as well. But anyway, I would highly recommend getting one of those if you're going to be doing anything this delicate. Say for €7, put one in the van. You're always going to be able to open up anything you need to. Anyway, let me get started on this. I'll be back very shortly. I'm going to try and do this live. I don't normally do that, but let's see if we can get this to work. Yeah. So there's one. Leave that embedded in the case. Don't lose it. Number 2. Number 3. And then we should be able to just pop the top off. Fingernail in there. Come on out. Take the screws out altogether. Might make it a bit easier. I normally keep a little magnet somewhere around here, and then little screws like this can just go onto the magnet so you don't lose them. Right, there we go. That's what we need. And the first thing we need to do is to remove the battery. So I've just got something there to push it out with. Right, put that to one side as well. Right, so if we take this out, put that over there, we don't need it. And if we look down here, these are the resistor positions that control the top button, and these are the ones that control the bottom button, which is that one. And as you can see, can you see? Yes, you can. The resistor, which is that piece there, is in position 4. And that one there is also in position 4. So what we have to do is this one here, we're going to take it from 4 and we're going to put it on to 3. As you can see, they are absolutely tiny little things. It's a surface mount. So this is why you need the very, very fine, I'll just show you that. That's the very, very, very fine soldering iron. What we're going to try and do is to gently heat this resistor on the edges until it pops off, hopefully not losing it somewhere, and then to reposition it onto the next one along and try and solder that back in place very carefully. It can be done. Fortunately, they actually give you 2 of these with each remote control, so sorry, with each relay. So if we mess one up, we could actually use the other one. Although I've done this 3 times so far and it's worked every time. And then we just need to make sure that when we put this across, that when we press this button, we're getting illumination, because if we've got a bad connection here, it's not going to work. Now, I can't do this live. I'm going to have to just do this very carefully, but I will come back in a second and show you what it looks like. See you shortly. So you can see now I've now been able to remove the resistor. It's just come off these pads here, and I don't know if that's visible. That is the resistor. It's about 1 millimeter long, absolutely tiny. So we're just going to put that back onto the 3rd pads. Now, it doesn't matter which way around this goes. Fortunately, it's just a resistor. So there's no right or wrong way. It can go any way you want. All you've got to make sure is that it comes across these 2 pads here and it doesn't cross over with any of the other pads. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But yeah, this is where the very, very careful bit comes in. I find if I heat these pads up first, keep the soldering iron really clean, and then put this back on to these positions here, and then with a tiny amount of solder, just touch them on either side, and that's usually sufficient to do it. But anyway, let's do it, and I'll be back shortly. I just wanted to show you what happens if you get it wrong. I've actually shorted out a couple of pads. I'm going to go and clean those up and do them again. But just for the sake of showing you. So I haven't touched the bottom one. So that one illuminates. Now the top one does not have a proper connection. No matter how many times I press that, there's no signal being produced. So that's just a good way of checking whether or not your soldering is correct. Now I've got to go and do this one again because I messed it up the first time. So I've just cleaned that up and resoldered it, and it's working now. So there's the bottom one, there's the top one. Now we'll just test it and make sure it's working on the relay. Okay, so I've now got this connected up. So in order to get this to do on and off, you've got to press this little button here 3 times. Wait for the light to come on. Now press the on button. And now press the off button. Now, you should be able to hear it click. On, off, on, off. So, just need to put this back together again, but that's now repaired or fixed the on-off functionality of these 433 megahertz relays. So anyway, simple little job if you've got the tools. But yeah. I don't know why they haven't fixed this yet. The problem's been known for quite some time, but they haven't. Anyway, that's how to repair it. Right, see you soon.